So the Champions League has returned, and we all love the Champions League. We all love the Champions League. Um, and yeah, Arsenal did win 2-1 tonight against Sevilla, and Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli scored both the Gabriels. Um, and how far can Arsenal go in this tournament? You know, they look like they're gonna get they look like they're gonna get past the group stages. So anything could happen from here on to the Champions League final. Um, and I do think Arsenal could have a very good chance at winning the whole tournament. Um, they have obviously beat Sevilla tonight. Yeah, we all love the Champions League, and yeah, it's amazing. The Champions League is absolutely amazing. Um, it's just astonishing how this tournament has grown. Its popularity and everything. It's just amazing. Um, Copenhagen missed a penalty against Man United in the last minute of the game. Literally the last second of the game. But yeah, back to Arsenal. I do think they could do very, very well this Champions League tournament, and I hope to see Liverpool in it next season. But I think Arsenal, they could go as far as just the round of 16. They could go as far as just the quarterfinals. And it'd still be a good season because it means they've gone past the group, and I think they're top of the group if I'm correct. They did lose to Lens in the French league. They beat PSV, and they've now beaten Sevilla, the team with the most titles in the Europa League. Yeah. Funnily enough, Arsenal have been in the the Europa League, 4 seasons in a row, and they haven't won the Europa League. It's astonishing. But this could be Arsenal's season where they win the Champions League. Forget the Europa League. This could be the season where they win the Champions League. And Gabriel Jesus, he hasn't scored in a while. I don't think he has anyway. Martinelli scored in their last game. Did he actually score? I think he did. And Declan Rice scored as well. But even if they just went as far as the quarterfinals, that would be a good attempt at the Champions League. And what I do think about this whole tournament is that there's always a surprise. Like, no one expected Lens to beat Arsenal 2-1. But yeah, I think the way Arteta plays, the philosophy of the club now. 3 or 4 years ago, Arsenal probably were just a forgotten team. They were probably a forgotten team. And now they've managed to build their way back up to the top in an astonishing way. As soon as they got Gabriel Jesus in last season, that's when it started to all click. And now they're at the biggest stage in European football, the Champions League, and they could even win it as well, it's amazing for Arsenal. It is amazing for Arsenal. And I do think that if they have a good attempt at winning the Champions League, then what will the future hold for Arsenal? If they win the Champions League in their first season back in the Champions League for over 6 years, I will be astonished. I will be astonished. I remember when Leicester were in the Premier League. Yeah, I remember when Leicester were in the Premier League. I meant to say Champions League. Yeah, my head muddles stuff up. My head muddles stuff up. If I want to say Champions League, I'll go Premier League. If I want to say Premier League, I'll go Champions League. That is what happens. But yeah, I do think this could turn out to be a very, very good season for Arteta and Arsenal. And I think if you look at it the way of if Arsenal win the Champions League, can they maybe even win a treble? I mean, it's unlikely because it's very rare that a football club does that. But it could easily happen if they start playing the way of a Man City or a Liverpool. I mean, they don't need anybody to tell them that they are doing good at the minute. Forget God, they don't need to tell anyone that they're doing astonishingly at the minute. The way Arteta is, I mean, when they had Wenger, I mean, you just couldn't sack Wenger, could you? Like, he was unsackable. Even if he lost 16 games in a row, you could not sack Wenger. Wenger was staying for good until he resigned. And when he did resign, when he did end up resigning, I think it was 18-19, was it? Might have been 19. No, I think it was 18-19. Yeah. I think, yeah, Wenger, obviously, I think he was their manager when they lost in Baku, in the Europa League. Is that Baku? Am I correct? I think I am. But yeah, I think he was the manager when they lost the Europa League final 4-2 to Chelsea. Yeah. Now them days are behind us. Now them days are really behind us. Chelsea aren't even in the Champions League this season. Europa League, sorry. Or Champions League. Take your pick. Take your pick. But yeah, I do think Arsenal will do very well this season with the way they've been playing so far. Obviously, they did draw their last game to Chelsea. They haven't lost a game this season so far, and neither have Spurs. I think both teams have drawn a game, but none have lost. But then they have a hit the ground running start to the season, but then it just all fails and just crumbles at the last minute. And I have a feeling that that's what might happen. Like, Spurs have had a great start to the season, but it will all crumble. I don't think they will win the title. At the minute, it is between Spurs and Arsenal. But yeah, are Man United even in the conversation? I don't even think they are. And until Man United start putting in weekly performances and start winning games consistently, I don't even think they're even in the conversation for the top 4. For the title race, they're not even here. For the title race, they're not even here. Forget being in the conversation, they're not even here. But yeah, Arsenal, they've got a very good season lined up ahead. I even think they could win the Champions League this season. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do, which means like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.